This is yet another show from Disney Plus, which I cannot bring myself to finish watching. I tried multiple times, but I could never get past the first few episodes. Hello, and welcome back to another installment of Film Friday, in which I review a new film every single week. This week we're taking a break from the norm and looking at a TV show miniseries from Disney Plus and Star Wars. It's called The Acolyte, created by Leslie Headland and starring Amandla Steinberg. This may contain some spoilers, but again, I didn't watch a ton of the show, so probably not too many major spoilers. Let's get into it. Now, I've called Disney Plus Star Wars shows boring in the past, but this is by far the most uninteresting, flawed, and pointless TV show from Disney Plus or Star Wars that I've ever seen. And from the outset, it didn't seem as though we were following a story that was terribly unique or original. None of the characters that were introduced to us were interesting or compelling in any way. Nothing about any aspect of the show engaged the interest of the audience watching. And there was also one plot hole which really bugged me. It was somewhat trivial while also not being so. I mean, it was kind of hard to tell if anything really mattered. But in the very first episode, nay, in the very first scene, we learn that a Jedi never draws his lightsaber unless he intends to kill somebody. However, within the first few episodes, I counted no less than 3 separate occasions on which a Jedi drew his lightsaber without intending to kill somebody. Again, it is just a small detail, but the fact that the show began with such an untrue statement, likely just to sound cool, demonstrates how perfectly devoid of meaning this project was. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I did try multiple times to watch and even enjoy this show, but I was never able to get past the first few episodes. And fans generally, even those who would consider themselves to be die-hard fans of Disney, or more specifically of Star Wars, are becoming less and less interested in watching the endless TV shows and remakes and reruns that Disney and Star Wars are pumping out at them. So clearly something is going wrong if even your own audience doesn't want to watch what you are making, much less a broader audience. Now, to be fair, I'm not someone who is a diehard fan of Star Wars, nor have I ever considered myself to be one. I understand and appreciate the place that the original trilogy has in the history of film, and I have enjoyed watching some of the movies and shows which have come out of the Star Wars franchise, but it's never something which I've really considered myself to be into. However, I don't think that negates or invalidates what I'm saying about The Acolyte here, because if we look at the audience ratings for the show, it ranks far below any other Star Wars project in existence. Now, to be clear, I am not in any way suggesting that I base my reviews off of what an audience rating happens to be for the particular project. I'm bringing this up more to demonstrate my point that the show is not something which anyone wants to see, Star Wars fan or otherwise. In other words, no one likes it. And that's not because it's a misunderstood masterpiece or before its time or anything like that. The goal of these shows, and we saw this in particular with Ahsoka and the later seasons of The Mandalorian, is to create something with massive fan appeal, fan servicing, inter-franchise references and cameos, and massive marketability. I mean, Disney is currently a very large corporation in the business of making as much money as possible. They're not looking to create misunderstood masterpieces or something that is unique, original, and before its time. And the primary products for this company are films and shows. They're looking for a formulaic approach to filmmaking, if you can call it that, that will generate them the most amount of profit and revenue. They don't really want to take risks or try to make anything too original because that could damage their earnings. So with all of that being the case, the fact that this show was such an utter failure is really quite interesting. With that being said, thank you for watching. Be sure to comment your own thoughts on the show below. And don't forget to subscribe for more movie reviews and commentary.